many of you know, death row is still used a little bit. As of 2023, there were 19,252 murders in the United States. To me, that could be a lot lower if we still use death row, or a lot more than what we did. What is the death penalty? The death penalty, also called capital punishment or death row, is when a person is sentenced to death after being committed of a crime like murder. To me, this should be used more than just murder, like rape. Because if you're going to rape somebody, that does more harm to them, like mentally, than what you really think. This practice is legal in some parts of the world, including certain states in the United States. Death row is justice. The main reason many people support the death penalty is the idea of justice. When someone commits a horrific crime like murder, they've taken another person's life. Many believe that the punishment should be just as severe. So if you go and kill somebody, you're just going to get sent to prison most of the time. I mean, that's not really fair. The death penalty can be seen as a way of holding someone fully accountable for their actions, giving the crime consequences that match its seriousness. It is a way of saying that some actions are so terrible they deserve the highest level of punishment. Does death row prevent crimes? One of the strongest arguments in favor of the death penalty is it can act as deterrent, meaning it can prevent future crimes. The idea is simple. If people know they can face the death penalty for committing certain crimes, they may think twice before doing them. Will this stop them? No, but it could at least help. Even though research on this is mixed, many believe that a strong punishment like the death penalty sends a clear message that certain crimes will not be tolerated. In my research, I found it doesn't really help, but it's still there. Giving the families peace. For the families of murder victims, the death penalty can provide a sense of closure. When someone takes the life of a loved one, it is devastating for the family. Knowing that the person who committed the crime is still being punished with the highest level of punishment can help bring some level of peace to the victims. Although punishment can bring back a loss of a loved one, the death penalty can offer justice for those who have suffered. Because how would you feel if someone like that you know or loved got murdered? You wouldn't feel very good. You'd be mad that the person that murdered them is still alive. Protecting society. The death penalty ensures that the person who committed a serious crime will never harm anyone again. In cases of violent crimes who have shown no remorse and continue to pose a threat to others, death row can be seen as the ultimate way to protect society. Even though the life imprisonment is alternative, some criminals still may be dangerous or able to escape. So the death penalty guarantees that they will never be a threat again. So if you've seen, there are some murderers and serial killers that just go out and when they're in the courtroom, they just have a straight face. They're not caring about anything. They just act like nothing happened. To me, this will kind of help them. They know that what they did is about to happen to them. Punishment for the worst crimes. The death penalty is often reserved for the most serious and extreme crimes like murder, especially in cases involving multiple victims or especially brutal circumstances. So if you go out, you torture someone like they do in like wars and stuff, but you just do that for the fun of it and the many people, that to me, you also are going to have the death penalty. In these cases, the crime is so severe that supporters argue the punishment needs to be equally extreme. Death row in these instances is seen as the only appropriate punishment to show society's seriousness about protecting its members. Assuring fairness and accuracy. While the risk of wrongful conviction is serious and concern, there are many safeguards in place to prevent innocent people from being executed. So like if someone frames you for this murder, it ensures that you're not going to be the one getting the death penalty instead of them, so they can keep going out and doing it and framing more people. In most cases, the death penalty convictions go through multiple trials, appeals, and reviews by higher courts to ensure fairness. New technologies like DNA testing has also improved the accuracy of convictions, reducing the chances of a mistake in the system. The cop, ensuring fairness and accuracy. Punishment for the worst crimes. Go to the next slide.
Next one.
Yeah. Some argue that the death penalty is too expensive, but there's evidence to suggest that life imprisonment without parole can be very costly. While death penalty cases do involve lengthy trials, the cost of keeping someone in prison for life, sometimes decades, can be extremely high. When considering long-term financial impact, some believe that the death penalty can actually be more cost-effective, especially in cases where the crime is clear out, conviction is certain. So the average cost of a death row is about $1 million. But for 30 years in prison without parole is just shy of $1 million. So you think if someone commits their crime when they're 20 and their sentence is up when they're 80, that's going to cost you $2 million, which in turn is cheaper than, or would be more expensive than just giving them the death penalty. A necessary part of justice. The death penalty plays a crucial role in a just society. It ensures that the most serious crimes face the highest level of punishment, and gives society a way to demonstrate that certain crimes will not be tolerated. It is about accountability, fairness, and protecting the safety of everyone. While it is important to ensure the system is fair and mistakes don't happen, the death penalty remains a necessary option for some of the worst offenders in our society. In conclusion, the death penalty is a necessary and justified part of our legal system for certain extreme crimes. It provides a sense of justice, acts as a deterrent against future crimes, and offers closure for victims' families. While no system is perfect, the safeguards in place to help ensure families and the death penalty continues to be an important tool in the fight for justice. So I've did my research too, and in the United States, there's only been 18 women that have ever faced the death penalty. And I just thought that was interesting that you see that men are more likely to be the murderers than the women. That is all. Thank you.